Radio Rahim with the magic man, Paulie Malignaggi. It's been like way too long, like super too long. And the funny thing is, last night, my camera guy, we were just taking a walk. He was asking me, like, who are my favorite people to interview, if there's anybody that, stands out. And it's Paulie Malignaggi. This is not smoke. Like,
the one and only.
Yeah, because you're like the most honest guy I know ringside, and consistent and passionate and knowledgeable. Like, whenever I'm watching a fight and you're ringside doing the commentary, it's something I look forward to. I'd say you and maybe Roy Jones are my favorites, right? I haven't seen that enough of recent. So I know everybody's talking about the fights and everything, but I want to talk a little bit about the business of boxing. Like, where's Paulie been?
Well, I've been with ProBox TV mainly. We have shows actually every other Wednesday. We have shows. You got to go to ProBoxTV.com or ProBox TV on YouTube, and it's an app. It's $1.99 a month with no commercials, and it's free on YouTube with commercials. I mean, it's literally like the equivalent of like the old Friday night fights. I mean, we've got that level of shows every other Wednesday night, and I've been calling fights with Chris Eubank and Mike Goldberg every other Wednesday night. So it's a good company. It's a page that has boxing news, talk shows and podcasts, and live boxing. So, I mean, if you go to ProBox TV, you will get your fix of Paulie Malignaggi if you have been missing me. But for this week, I'm here with Team Boxer and Sky Sports.
That's right. You guys did a fight just before Canelo Ryder, right, in Mexico? The Friday night.
Yeah, we were there for the Friday night right before Canelo Ryder, but it's part of our consistent every other Wednesday show. As a matter of fact, we have a Wednesday, September 6th coming up. We have a Hot Rod Kalazovic, was the excellent heavyweight contender. Yeah. He's getting in there on the 6th, and we have a show on the 20th, a show on early October. So every other Wednesday, if you guys want to watch, I mean, it's live every other Wednesday on ProBox TV.
Well, now you know, because I look for Paulie all the time, and I hear that all the time people are missing you, so now you know where to find Malignaggi. But this week, you will find him in Manchester with the big rematch, Smith-Eubank. I was here for Eubank-Smith. And, you're a guy who's stepped through the ropes with bravado. You've been on the stage and in front of the camera saying all kind of crazy things during the course of your career. Knowing what it's like for a guy like Chris Eubank, who has such a big personality and has said all of these things, to now have to eat a little bit of humble pie and come back for the rematch, what's going through his mind? Not what he's telling us, but what's actually happening in there.
I mean, I think he's aggravated. I think he's probably want to take out that frustration because he can't say what he wants to say now because people won't take him seriously because he got knocked out the first time. And now Liam Smith gets to say all the good stuff, And that's what I noticed in the press conference was Liam really zinging it to him, He's a veteran, Liam, And so he's been a world champion and he's had a few press conferences himself, so he knows what to say and how to say it. And he was giving him some good zingers, and you can see Chris has to take it right now. So I'm very curious how it's going to affect him on Saturday night, because in the first fight we were looking at this fight and saying, is Liam Smith have a chance, or is he just too long in the tooth, as an ex-world champion, as a guy who's maybe used up. And all of a sudden he showed us why he's an ex-world champion and why he's a guy to be taken seriously. He knocked out Chris Eubank. And now suddenly it shows you how fickle everybody is. All of a sudden now people going into this fight are like, well, how can Eubank adjust? What can he do? I mean, does Eubank really need to adjust that much? He was winning the first fight. He got caught. It happens, right? So, I mean, I don't understand how everybody just writes off one guy all of a sudden. I still think Smith is a great fighter. He proved it in the first fight, and he's proved it throughout his career. But this is a good fight, man. This is one fight where you can actually make a case for both guys, and the first fight really only confuses you more.
Chris will have pointed to the elbow as the shot that really made the difference in the first fight, especially immediately thereafter. He says it a little bit less now, but for a while there he was saying that was the reason. Do you give that much credit?
I mean, it's quite possible, because when you look at everything, right, and maybe Team Smith is not going to like this. When you look at everything, Team Smith and Liam Smith, he's been a solid puncher throughout his career, but he's not been that level of puncher to where he's hurting guys like that who have never been hurt or knocked out. And Eubank was known to have a granite chin. All of a sudden, he's wobbling all over the place from a shot. So it's quite possible that maybe it was the elbow. And Eubank being called a sore loser, maybe he says it less. But I'll say it right now. I mean, it's quite possible. I'm not saying it for sure, but it's quite possible because we've never seen that reaction from Eubank against even bigger punchers, and we haven't seen that kind of power from Liam Smith against anybody. No, at least that level of one shot like that against a guy of that chin. And then, you put it together and you're saying, man, I was like, maybe it could just be the elbow. Maybe it could have been the elbow. Again, when you got to consider all the factors. Liz Smith is going to say, no, it wasn't the elbow. Eubank's going to say, yeah, it was the elbow. Okay. Again, that's why the answers come together in the rematch. But when I put together those factors, I completely disapprove of the elbows mention. It could quite be that.
When a trainer has a fighter who is pound for pound number one, is having all the success, that guy is on a victory tour, he's won the fight that people waited for 5 years. The thing that always happens in boxing is that trainer then becomes like the hallowed ground to fix everybody who's got a problem. And we see Bomac up here, and getting all the shine and credit he should get, but now he's got a long line at his door of guys who say, fix me, help me, make me Terence Crawford. Does he make a difference in this fight?
I think Bomac brings a certain level of intelligence to the corner. I don't know that to the degree that they've been together long enough, if there's anything that's going to really change physically from Eubank, because they weren't running together that long. But then again, like I just said, does Eubank have to make that many changes? He was winning the first fight. He just has to be mentally disciplined, right? So there's more strategic stuff in the corner, if anything, that varies from trainer to trainer that maybe Bomac might bring that somebody else might not bring, and then whether that's good or bad, we'll find out. But Bomac is certainly deserving of the accolades he's gotten. But again, boxing's fickle, bro. I mean, one day you're the best, one day you're not. I mean, Derek James is just getting all the praise in the world. Now, Spence got smoked. Joshua didn't look good, and he's going to have Jamel probably, most likely lose against Canelo. And now you're going to see all the fickle people go hate on Derek James. But Derek James is a great trainer, too. So all that stuff is just for people to talk about, ultimately. Because people are going to come and go. They like the flag in Sicily, we say it's like a flag waving. Whichever the direction the wind goes, they go. So you can't really take that too seriously. But Bomac right now is deserving of the accolades he's gotten. And it's possible that he may bring something to the corner. I don't know that they would have done anything in the gym so much different than before because there wasn't enough time.
I mean, you mentioned Jermell obviously is going to be up against Canelo, which is a huge challenge, especially that weight jump is crazy. Mm-hmm. But speaking of somebody willing to make a weight jump, talk about, 47 to 68. Crawford has called out, by every estimation, Canelo, saying that he's willing to go to 168 pounds to fight him. Is that just talk, or is this a fight we should actually take seriously?
I think it's about as ridiculous as Canelo saying he could fight Usyk, and I don't know, and then Bebo tells you, why Usyk? Why not Joshua? He's like, if you're gonna be that ridiculous, let's just make it fully ridiculous, If Crawford talks about he can challenge Canelo, why don't we talk about, Crawford challenging, the cruiserweight championship, or
So is there no way that Crawford beats Canelo? What if it was 60?
I don't know, man. I don't think Canelo can make 60 anymore. I don't know, man. Listen, I think Crawford is more gifted. I even think Jamel Charlo is more gifted than Canelo, but weight class doesn't matter.
And lastly, is Crawford your number one pound for pound?
Yeah, but he was before. I was picking him to lose the Spence fight, but I had him as my number one pound for pound because pound for pound gauges a lot of variables, so I had Spence as my number one pound for pound. I confirmed that, but I was wrong on the Spence Crawford head to head.
Well, Paulie Malignaggi is my number one comment for comment commentator in boxing. Love to see you. Love
says
to hear
that
from
to
you.
everybody, doesn't he?
Nah, they'll tell you that I don't, and that is like something I really respect you for. I loved your career, and I love your career in front of the fucking camera, and the mic is everything. Radio Rahim with Paulie, the Magic Man Malignaggi.